Hi friends. So yesterday a youngster from Hong Kong was playing a tennis match against a Russian at the US Open, and it made me feel sad and depressed. You may ask why, I'll tell you why. The lad from Hong Kong who was playing yesterday, his name is Coleman Wong, a 21-year-old young tennis sensation. He is from a country like Hong Kong, a tiny country with zero legacy in tennis, and yet he was playing the third round match in the men's singles event against 15 seeded superstar from Russia, Andrew Rublev. And he not only fought Rublev point to point, he was also capable, at one stage looking capable of winning that match before Rublev, with his experience and his tenacity and his grit, somehow managed to dig deep and won the match to deprive Wong from advancing to the fourth round. Now, what a fabulous performance, what a great achievement. And then, when you dig deep into Wong's resume, you find that he's still only 173rd ranked in the world. He's still not in the top 100, but he has been picked up by Rafa Nadal Academy because of his immense talent and his spark, and they have put a lot on his shoulders, and they believe he can go a long way in achieving tennis history and tennis glory from his country, and that's why they have taken him to their academy. They have trained him for weeks and months, and Rafa has been in constant touch with him through social media and through mobile phones throughout the campaign at US Open, because he believes in his talent. He believes he can go a long way, he can really move up the ladder and reach a superstar status. Now, when you watch this, when you hear this, when you read all about this, you feel a little sad, thinking where India has landed vis-a-vis a small tiny country like Hong Kong with zero legacy. Once upon a time, India was a very strong power in tennis in the world. It was reflected by India reaching the Davis Cup final twice, and definitely India was the strongest powerhouse in Asia. There was no country which was coming close to matching India, at least in men's tennis. Yes, Japan was a formidable force in women's tennis with stars like Itsuko Inoue and others, but there was nobody coming close to India in Asia in terms of tennis talent or tennis achievement in men's tennis. And when you think about the fact that in 1980 Vijay Amritraj had reached a career high rank of world number 18, and in 85 Ramesh Krishnan had reached 23. We are talking about serious men's talent in singles events. Those are the rankings which, if we put in context in today's scenario, we are talking about players like Leheka, Machak, Serundolo, Dimitrov, Tsitsipas, and Bublik. So these are real superstars in men's tennis today, and they are capable of winning big events, and they are winning also. So at once upon a time, it may not be known to a lot of youngsters, India had that kind of talent in Vijay Amritraj, Ramesh Krishnan, and before them in Ramanathan Krishnan. Ramesh Krishnan used to frequently reach third round, fourth round of Wimbledon, and he had beaten world number ones like Mats Wilander in the first round of Australian Open. Vijay Amritraj had performed brilliantly in the circuit and had won a few titles, and he was deeply admired and respected by the top-notch guys like McEnroe, Borg, and Connors, and players of that caliber. And yet today our reservoir is empty, our cupboard is empty. There is nothing left in the singles event, or nothing left in men's talent, in the talent category in men's tennis. Why and how it happened? I think the reason is a little unpopular, maybe politically unpopular, but it's true. That's my view. I think in the late 90s, when Leander Paes and Mahesh Bhupati came as a Lee Hesh pair, and they set the world stage on fire by winning all the majors, all the Grand Slams, and winning multi-million-dollar contracts, winning millions of dollars in prize money throughout the world, and the whole world started taking note of them as a formidable, almost superpowers in men's doubles. The whole thing changed in India. Millions and millions of youngsters were inspired because they had a benchmark in Lee and Ash. And then every tennis aspiring kid wanted to become a double specialist or a mixed double specialist, and the exploits of Rohan Bopanna and Sania Mirza again in terms of achieving glory in doubles and mixed doubles events in the coming years and the next few years once again made it impossible for any tennis loving person or kid in India to shy away from doubles and mixed doubles events. And in all these things, the whole generation, we had a whole generation who started growing up trying to pursue tennis but as a specialist game for doubles and mixed doubles. And in all this singles event got completely neglected and people were completely oblivious to men's singles. And beyond some point it was as if it was beyond our capability and capacity to achieve any glory or excellence there. And slowly with Ramesh Krishnan and Vijay Amritraj retiring and fading away, there was nobody left to set a benchmark or to inspire the next generation. It became doubly difficult for any youngster to follow a role model from India in singles events. So everybody wanted to be Leandro Paes or Mahesh Bhupati or Rohan Bopanna or Sania Mirza, but nobody wanted to slog, nobody wanted to have the self-belief, and tennis was also getting a very expensive sport, it was turning out to be. So nobody wanted to go on dumping money and pursue a singles career where there was nothing visible. It looked almost impossible to crack into the top 100, and without reaching top 100 you would be going bankrupt with the kind of investment required. So all these things added to the whole scenario, and India started slipping down the barrel in terms of men's singles events and the rankings and also talent. No wonder today we have nobody even in the top 200. India's only known singles player is Sumit Nagal, who is languishing at 300, at a rank of 300 in singles event, and we don't even know whether we have any other player of note in singles. That is the kind of predicament or the kind of scenario we have as a tennis playing country of 140 crore population, whereas a tiny nation like Hong Kong has Coleman Wong, who is already reached 173 and looks well on his way to break into top 100 after his exploit at the US Open, and he may go even much further in his journey towards tennis excellence. And then it will be very unfortunate to look at small countries like Hong Kong and also looking like countries which had no legacy beforehand, like Korea and even China now slowly coming into the men's tennis. They have already established themselves in women's tennis with Lina winning majors, and also they have currently 2 players in the top 20 in the world ranking in among women. But their men are also not far behind, they are catching up fast. And India today is not even in a position to be considered as the top 3 nations in Asia. And I have a doubt that if there would be a Davis Cup tie against China or Korea or Japan, whether India would be able to prevail, because India just doesn't have the singles talent, and India did a mistake of only running after the doubles and mixed doubles. And in a Davis Cup match tie also, there is only used to be one doubles tie in the conventional format when it was there, and there were 4 singles events, and without any decent singles player India had no chance. So India first suffered majorly in Davis Cup, and then it was also reflected in terms of zero representation in the Grand Slam in the men's singles. Sumit Nagal had a few representation, especially last year when he had reached 68 rank, but that was just an aberration. Before that he had not won anything of note in a men's singles event in the Grand Slam. This year also it has not happened. So India is really sinking deep into a black hole in terms of men's singles event in tennis, and the future doesn't look rosy, and that makes one sad and little depressed, considering looking at small countries like Hong Kong and players like Coleman Wong doing great. One feels good for them, one feels happy that tennis is expanding its base. Now more players from more countries are coming and staking their claims. But in all these things, a nation of 140 crore people, India, somehow has lost its mojo. Hopefully it will happen, if not in the short term, maybe in the medium term. We'll have to wait and watch. Thank you.